We're recording now, so anything that said is now said can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Shai, tell me that you love me.
Okay.
All right. I have to.
So, bye, guys.
Yeah.
Does your team need to master AngularJS? Oasis Digital offers Angular Bootcamp, a 3-day in-person workshop class for individuals or teams. Bring us to your site or send developers to ours, angularbootcamp.com. This episode is sponsored by Wijmo 5, a brand new generation of JavaScript controls. A pretty amazing line of HTML5 and JavaScript products for enterprise application development in that Wijmo 5 leverages ECMAScript 5 and each control ships with AngularJS directives. Check out the faster, lighter, and more mobile Wijmo 5. This episode is sponsored by DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean is the provider I use to host all of my creations. All the shows are hosted there, along with any other projects I come up with. Their user interface is simple and easy to use, their support is excellent, and their VPSs are backed on solid-state drives and are fast and responsive. Check them out at DigitalOcean.com. If you use the code AngularAdventures, you'll get a $10 credit.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Adventures in Angular, episode 40. Today on our panel we have Lucas Rublke.
Hello.
Katya Eames.
Hi.
And I'm Joe Eames. I'll be your host today. And we have a special guest, which is Shai Reznik.
Hello. Hey, you forgot Aaron Frost. Hello. And Charles Maxwood. Hi there. And
John Papa.
It's me.
Hey, I like ravioli code. I'm John Papa. I like ravioli.
It's a me, John Papa.
It's a me. So yeah, everybody's here. I will dub everyone together, okay, and ask the question and stuff like that.
Awesome. Shai, so we have you on the show today to talk about ng-wat. So the first thing we definitely got to say is for anybody who's listening, if you have not watched that talk from ng-conf, that you should watch it. But before we get into it, I think it would be a great idea for you to introduce yourself and give us some background, history, your best friend growing up, and any criminal record that you've got. So.
Okay, so it started back in 1983. It was a cold day. My mother started... Okay, so I'm Shai Reznik, and I come from two parallel backgrounds. One is front-end development and consulting, and the other one is entertainment. So I do improvisation. It's like, whose line is it anyway? I'm from Israel, so I do it mainly here in Israel. And I also have a stand-up comedian background. And I'm fascinated with video, especially online video. So for lots of years, it was a hobby of mine, which recently I turned into my new venture a few months back that I started called highres.io, which is an online training school which combines teaching front-end development with humor, and mainly for people who don't like long videos and pretty much get distracted easily by online videos. So I started, the first course that I launched is an Angular, prepare your code for Angular 2.0, how to prepare your current Angular 1 code to Angular 2. And I released...
Can I ask, is that video just basically Control-A, Control-X?
Control-A, Control-X.
Or for the Mac inclined, Command-A, Command-X.
Oh, yeah. Control... Yeah, exactly. It's copy-paste, basically, and just rename stuff. No, it's actually, if you haven't seen the first video, I can probably bet you never saw a crazier online video in your life, okay? I don't care who.
Does that include people who have seen ng-wat?
It's crazier.
You can argue that it might be crazier because I didn't have the restrictions I had in ng-wat. So yeah, you might. Okay, so I will leave it to anyone who wants to see it. You can see it on highres.io. So, and plus I run the largest JavaScript community in Israel. It's a meetup group and a Facebook group, and we share knowledge and have lots of fun. And my whole thing with Angular started like 2.5 years ago, or bit longer. I was actually the first, I think one of the first guys who did an Angular lecture in Israel. And I started like forming this meetup group, and we started hanging around and sharing like JavaScript knowledge and stuff like that, and talking about JavaScript and then the next versions of frameworks and stuff like that. And I started lecturing myself, actually, like I think in the beginning to fill up spots when people didn't show up to speak or something like that. And yeah, so ng-conf was like a big dream of mine ever since I saw the first one last year. And I saw I think it was John Papa's talk with Ward Bell interfering, getting up to the stage, and I was like, okay, I must be there. Those guys are crazy, and I must like hang around with these guys and stuff like that. And so yeah, this is like a short background on me. I kind of leap onto the ng-wat, but I have like also funny stories from that, and I have also stuff that I didn't actually, that wasn't made it to the actual talk, because I think I had 10 minutes, which I think I exceeded slightly. It was 16 minutes, I think, in the end. So this is basically me. I do lots, like I'm a professional hand teaser also, and I juggle and stuff like that, but you don't want to hear about that. So that's about it, right? This is the episode.
So let's get to our picks.
Okay, so I pick Lucas Rubelke.
He's the craziest guy you'll ever see. And Shai, you need to hang out with him. I do have a question. So a little bit of kind of a anecdotal story is you went on Thursday and my talk was on Friday. And after you gave your talk, I literally like had a panic attack and like, I need to go work on my presentation. It's not good enough. And I need more jokes. But obviously your talk was easily, in terms of just entertainment value, was my favorite talk out of all of, the ng-conf talks. And there was a lot of good ones, but I really especially liked yours. And It was very well received. I would be interested to hear, what your impressions were of just the reception of, like, all of a sudden, like, Shai Reznik comes out of nowhere and gives, like, the funniest talk ever. Like, what was that like, having, this large community just, like, lose their mind, over your talk, and, what kind of came of that since?
First of all, I am glad you asked. I was waiting. I have a scripted answer for it.
You're good. It was the cold night in 1983.
Yeah, my mother. So okay. So the story behind ng-wat, I will get like to the end result of my feeling after the talk. But it started, like I said, it was a dream of mine, and it was a coincidence. I saw on ng-conf's website a call for paper message, and I was like, I it's like I'm a perfectionist, so nothing is ever good enough. So I didn't want to submit anything because I thought it like one wouldn't get accepted, and I could say, if I would submit, it would get accepted, and blah, 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 blah. So we just finished up doing a meetup here in Israel, and one of the talks in our meetup was JavaScript Wet 2, okay, by one of our top JavaScript developers called Pavel Kaminsky. He did a take on JavaScript Wet, like a new wets in JavaScript that wasn't in the original talk. And to those of you who don't know JavaScript Wet, it's a genius talk. Like Gary Bernhardt, who did it, I think in 2012, he actually did it to mock JavaScript and to mock Ruby, and the concept of it, like the delivery and everything, was superb. I remember seeing it and I was like, oh man, I would love to be that guy giving that talk when I saw it like in 2012. So coming back to like, I think like 6 months ago or something like that, when I saw the CSP the call for papers, I was like, okay, maybe I will submit like an Angular web talk. I think I can deliver that talk like on Angular. So I come from a consulting background, and for the past 2.5 years, I've been consulting to like lots of enterprise companies about Angular. And I have so much frustration of teaching Angular, and I saw so much frustration from people who I thought Angular to about different concepts, and so it came natural to me to think of like all the stuff we go over as developer, learning this stuff, like the stuff I talk in the actual talk. So I submitted the talk, and then like time went on, and I never thought, Joe, I never thought you guys will accept it, because I thought it was too, far out or like not related to the like technical conference or something like that. Although I knew you guys are like fun people and you like crazy stuff, but who am I? Like you said, Lucas, like nobody knew me, and I was like, this guy from Israel and stuff like that. And when I got the email from Dave accepting the pull request of the proposal, I was like, oh my God. I remember sitting with friends, my wife next to me, and I like opening the phone, and it was like Friday night, and we were hanging around and stuff like that, having a laugh. And I was like, I can't believe it. And everybody was, what happened? And I was like, my token got accepted to ng-conf. And everybody don't know ng-conf because these are my friends, right? And they're not Angular people. So they were like, what? And I was like, and literally in Hebrew, it's like, it sounds stupid to say my talk, okay? Because it's like saying my conversation got accepted to ng-conf. So I was like, my conversation got accepted. It's like I got a call from someone, right? So my wife was like, okay, honey, you mean your talk? Your talk got accepted, right? And I was like, yeah, I was so freaked out. And I thought like all the meaning of this like fell upon me, right? And like it's about to happen. I can't believe I'm flying it's my first time in the States also. And I was like, everything together, we're like, oh, can't believe it. Now I need to deliver this. So I was super nervous, started collecting all of my frustrations and stuff. Because when I submitted it was like, yeah, I can do this talk. It's easy. And then when it got real, I was like, oh, wait, can I do this talk? Can I deliver this? Can I make it funny? And yeah, so I started collecting stuff, and I was preparing everything. And I did a test run like 1 week before the actual talk, and like 2 days before I took a flight, or 1 day, something like that. And I collected like the best Angular minds in Israel. And we are all friends like in the community. So we gathered, we did a barbecue evening, and like I did the first test run of the ng-wat talk. And I didn't have time to prepare or rehearse it and stuff because I was working on the Angular 2 video in the same time and printing out shirts and stuff like that. So I didn't have time, so it wasn't really that prepared. And I thought to myself, okay, let's try it. We'll see how it goes. And it went terrible. Okay? Like nothing worked. Nothing. It was the worst feeling ever because I was sitting there, and these are my friends, right? They wanted me to succeed, and they wanted to laugh, but they didn't want to like fake it. So they looked at me like, in complete silence when I finished their test run, and they looked at me like, it's next week, right? And I was like, yeah. Good luck, man. Good luck. And this is the time when you say to yourself, okay, now I got the panic, right? Now it's on. Now I have like less than a week and I have flights in between, and I need to do stuff once I get there. And so I have like less than a week to prepare a completely new talk. Okay, completely new before I go up to stage. So you ask, how was it? Like, this is the experience leading up to it. So, yeah. So on the plane itself, on the flight, I rewrote everything. Okay. And I was improvising with my friend Alon, who flew with me. And I took like the points, like I had stuff about filter, but the punchline wasn't funny enough. So I just took the idea behind it and started improvising. Started like getting into characters and getting into like being mad and like really like saying stuff from my heart, right? So like really like frustrating. What? They were high when they thought about it and stuff like that. And my friend Alon started laughing on the plane, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I will write that down. And this is how I like constructed the talk. And I rehearsed it and like learned the script and stuff like that. And I never learned scripts because I do improvisation and you don't have scripts, right? So it's another thing. So by the time I got to the actual talk, I didn't sleep the whole night before. I couldn't. I was so excited. I wasn't afraid. I was excited. It's different. My heart was like pumped up with adrenaline, and I couldn't wait to get on stage. I want to get it on already. And I remember getting out to the stage, and well, I don't know if anyone heard that story. So I was getting out to the stage, and Aaron asked me like if I'm ready, because I was connecting all the cables and stuff like that. And he leaned to me like 3 times, I think. He asked me, are you ready? And I was like still waiting like for the HDMI and stuff like that. And I looked at him and said, I was born ready. And he gave me that look of, are you kidding me? Did you seriously just said it to me? Like, what are you, Chuck Norris or something? We're not in an 80s action movie, right? I was born ready. What was I thinking? I don't know. Okay, so like the talk started, and I remember like I had the script, right? So I was supposed to say, hi, I'm Shai Reznik and blah, blah, blah. And usually I start talks with how are everybody, like how are you feeling and stuff like that. And I remember telling myself, don't ask how they feel. Don't ask how they feel. Don't ask. And what you know, the first sentence that came out of my mouth was, how are, and I forgot English. I forgot how to speak. I completely forgot all the words. And I was like standing there, 700 people in front of me. And I was like, how are, and everybody like quiet, like, and I was like, okay, never mind. Let's restart. And everybody thought it was on purpose, but it wasn't, okay? I was stupid for like 3 seconds, and then I continued being stupid, but funny, okay? So this is like leading up to it. And once it started, I was overwhelmed by the reaction. I never planned that people will start laughing that soon, because I thought it will be a build-up. I didn't have like something to measure it, because I didn't test it before. So I didn't know how people will take it. And the first try was shitty, right? So I didn't have a reference. So when people started laughing, I was worried, like I knew I was gonna get everybody up on their feet, because this is how we do in Israel, in our JavaScript Israel meetup. So we do like crazy warm-ups and stuff, and this I took from the improv shows. This is what we do with the crowd sings and stuff like that to get everybody warmed up. And I thought like 5 people would get up, and something. But everyone like got up, and everyone played along, and people started laughing in the build-up, right, of the first joke. And I was like, oh, I can't believe it's happening. Like I was so overwhelmed. And I got like when it was over, I don't really remember. I needed to watch the video like several times after it to see what happened there because I was so pumped up and under sleeping, right? Like completely blacked out of don't have a memory of what happened there. And I went down on stage and tried to get to my room and to get some sleep, but I couldn't sleep. And I just opened up my inbox and it was like 300 emails in 10 minutes. And and I'm not that guy, right, to get like 300 emails in 10 minutes. And I thought to myself, oh, whoa. And all the tweets, like quoting the talk, like the stuff I said in the end and like some part of the jokes. And it was amazing. It was like a dream. And I was the sound, my favorite sound in life, I think, is laughter. I don't think you have like something that beats it. And to hear 700 people laugh at the same time, it was like, I don't know, amazing. An amazing experience. And I told you before, I have long answers to short questions. So yeah. Also leading up to the talk, I actually, when I got to Utah, to the hotel, I met people who got the chance to view the Angular 2 video I did like a few days before. Mm-hmm. And so I got like people saying, hey, you're the crazy video guy. Even before the talk, right? So I was like, yeah, that's me. I'm the crazy video guy. And yeah, so I got like the warm feeling before that some of the people already like maybe knew who I am, and some of the Angular team knew about me. And we actually met one day before. We had breakfast together, and you remember, Joe, it was with you.
Yep.
So it was also funny. And do you remember like when I first came in, the first time we met, Joe? Like, you remember what happened there?
No. Remind me, what happened?
Yeah, you try not to remember. So a night before, on Tuesday, I think, we sat down to have dinner with Aaron, and we joked about like, because I'm from Israel, I can teach everyone wrong things about Israel. Like completely not true stuff, like how we say hello, how we say goodbye, and just mess around with people. So I told him that's totally what I'm going to do tomorrow on the breakfast that we have with Igor and Brad and everyone there. So I think I did it to Igor, I think. So he came later than us.
Right.
And when he came, I was like, hey, Igor. And he was like I was 2 feet from him. So he was like, whoa. He didn't know me, like only from online and stuff like that. And I was like hugging him. And he froze. Okay, like didn't move. And I was like, yeah. And he, hello. And I'm Shai. We talk, yeah. And I said, no, you should, in Israel, we say hello like this. And I was like high-fiving him and spinning around, going down, going up, like doing crazy stuff. And he just stood there and looked at me like, really? This is what you do? And I was like, no, I'm just messing with you. Let's go and eat. And so, and I think I did it also to Dan Walin.
Oh, yeah.
Like later that day also. Yeah, it was. Yeah, they also asked me like I love to mess around with people, and it was a great opportunity for me because nobody knows me and I can make up stuff, right? So
right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I can tell you, as an organizer, when we were looking through talks and we saw your talk, did you know any of the organizers before ng-conf?
Yes. So not in person, but I've been listening to JavaScript Jabber for like since episode 1. And I know all of you guys. I'm stalking you and taking picture of you. and stuff like that. So beware and be afraid. But yeah, I knew everyone, and like I said, I like not in person, but that's why I was so sure that you won't accept, and that's why I was so excited when you did accept, and that's why I made that video and stuff like that.
Right, that video was pretty funny. So obviously, sometimes one of the things that we do when we look at submission talks is to say, does anybody know this person? Have they seen them talk before? Are they a good speaker? Right? That's important. We want good quality speakers. And I don't recall if anybody had said that they'd seen you talk at all before. But when we looked at the talk, we were like, the ng-wat talk is so awesome. For us to take a risk and do an ng-wat could be epic, or it could just be a horrible fail. And I don't know if which way I may have voted about that, but I definitely know that we all had this sort of like, oh, this is a huge risk, right? 'Cause this could just be horrible. This guy's really got to be spot on. And I could say that we were all glad. Didn't we come back? Didn't we accept you as a 5-minute talk, and then you came back and asked for 10 minutes?
So I didn't ask. Okay, you bumped it automatically. Okay. So yeah, I was actually planning for 15 minutes because I thought like 5 minutes. I'm not used to like 5 minutes like lighting talks and stuff like that. So I only present myself like at 5 minutes. So I thought, okay, nobody want to hear 5 minutes about me. So I need like 15 minutes. And actually, I think like a short time before the conference, I got like the email, yeah, you have 5 minutes. And I think Sunny sent me like, yeah, I spoke with them. You have 5 minutes. And I said, oh, okay. I thought I have 15. Okay, I will try and make it 5 minutes. And then she came back to me and said, and wrote like, yeah, I verified it again. You have a minute talk. And she accidentally left out the 5. And I was like replying, oh, okay. So just getting shorter and shorter. I will stop asking questions now. And she was like, no, it was a typo.
That's when you're like, hi, I'm Shai. T-shirt time. Thanks for the talk.
Yeah.
And that's all I have.
Yeah.
So obviously the format of your talk, which was, purely for entertainment, is not the kind of thing you will typically see in a technical conference. It was fantastic. It was very entertaining. But I think that one of the things that, since it's such a rare talk and people, you can't make a conference out of talks like that because a conference just can't just be fun. Otherwise, bosses wouldn't pay. Yeah. But one of the things that people can, I think, really learn from watching this talk is your energy level was so great. And that kind of energy level is awesome in talks, regardless of even if it's the most boring subject. Like that high energy level gets everybody excited. And I think that's good advice. And I will say, as an organizer, when we saw the topic, the title, and what you said, that actually does mean a lot. Not all conferences are looking for something fun and edgy in their talks. We are. So if anybody listening is thinking of submitting to NGConf next year, this is all good advice. And that is talks and submissions that have attitude get more points in the voting process than ones that are boring and straightforward, because we're looking for personality in talks, because that's what people talk. We can't just have the good technical content. It's also got to have personality. And occasionally, like with Shai, it could be all personality.
I'm not complaining.
Right. Yeah. Lucas is a great example of that too. Lucas is one of those people that once people see Lucas talk, are going to accept Lucas as a speaker for anything, because they know that it's going to be fun and it's going to have awesome technical content.
Yeah, I can agree.
A little bit of love.
Yeah.
You're sweet.
Yeah. Bromance.
Yeah, that's
little bromance going on.
You're just saying that because I have to speak at NG Vegas in a couple weeks, and I better bring my A game.
Bring your A game.
Yeah, but I concur. I agree about Lucas. He's an awesome.
So we're definitely bumping up against our time. I want to ask if there's anything else that you want to cover, but based on the fact that you take so long answering questions, I'm afraid.
Yeah. What did you have for lunch? Okay, we're done.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Okay, it started in 1983.
On a cold night.
Cold night. My mother. Yeah. Okay.
Your
so
mother.
I have actually have few more whats that that I have, but you guys can pay an editor and just edit all this stuff out. So I don't mind. You don't need to eat, right? So
Right.
so
So is that going to be ng-conf 2016? Is it going to be ng-wat too?
I don't think so. I don't think another ng-wat as the same format will be. I think a better idea for next year. I think I don't know if I need to expose it now or just leave it as a surprise. But I think, a much better idea for next year. Because I think like the format is good, and I believe that with Angular 2 and stuff like that, we'll have more quirks and more stuff and more, but people are expecting it, right? So after the talk, like Igor started inviting me to GitHub issues, started tagging me like, okay, we must bring Shai on so we wouldn't laugh at our naming choices and stuff like that. So you ask about how the reaction is. I'm now on the GitHub committee of naming for Angular. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I probably will have, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying it now, but maybe we'll have more materials for another ng-wat talk. But we'll see about it.
Cool.
Yeah, but I have here stuff that they didn't make the cut and they won't be relevant by the time, like by the next ng-wat. And I want just to ask you if I'm not like hallucinating over this. Do you remember that there was a name property in the directive definition object? Like a name property. You remember anything like that?
I don't know if I encountered that. It doesn't ring a bell, Lucas?
No.
But I don't know that like I was like searching around and what every possibility was.
Okay.
Like,
so it's a good thing that I didn't insert it into my talk. I was preparing a lecture about directives 2 years ago or something like that, or 1.5 years ago, and I was reading all the documentation, like word by word, and I again I didn't have really time to sleep. I don't know, like it's a recurrent theme with me. So I read all the documentation. Like when I got to 4 a.m. or something like that, I bumped into the name property of the DDO, which you think it's the name of the directive, but no. And then I got to the transclude linking function definition. And you don't want to read this stuff at like 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning when you are like few hours away from doing a talk about it. And because to anyone who don't know, I don't know if they have it already in the documentation, but if you do a time machine, like back to the older documentation of Angular, the definition was a transclude linking function is a transclude linking function pre-bound to the correct transclusion scope. Imagine seeing this like in 5 a.m. in the morning and trying to explain it to other people. And and I want to talk about ng Europe and all the stuff. I actually made a video about like a parody about Angular 2.0. I don't know if you guys got the chance to see it, but it was after ng Europe and the announcement that we're going to kill the controllers and we're going to kill everything. So,
right.
So yeah, I want to talk about this and talk about the what you see when you get the infinite digest loop error message and all this stuff. But yeah, I didn't have the time, so never mind.
Well, awesome. Well, hopefully we'll be seeing lots more of Shai, and who knows, Angular or ng-conf 2016. Maybe you'll make another appearance.
I vote yes.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Cool. All right. Well, let's move forward to picks. Lucas, you're up first.
So I have just one pick this week, and I think it's appropriate for this podcast. I've been reading Dr. Seuss' Cat in the Hat every night for the last 2 weeks to my 4-year-old. And the book has actually really started to grow on me. And it's actually really quite clever. And we actually start to look at even some of the illustrations. And I think where it's deceptively simple in the fact that it's a kid's book, but it's actually really quite humorous. And so my pick this week is Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. I think it's really quite a brilliant work of comedic genius.
I like it. Katya, how about you?
My pick for this week is Pushing Daisies. It's basically just Disney for adults. It's perfect. About a pie maker that can bring back the dead.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a TV series, right?
Mm-hmm. TV series, 2 seasons with Lee Pace.
Yeah, who ultimately played
Glandiel
in Lord of
the Hobbit. He played Glandiel in Lord of the Hobbit.
In the Hobbit.
I didn't see that one. Lord of the
Yeah, that's 3 more movies.
It was
All
only in
extended
Israel.
editions.
Yeah.
You could watch all 6 of them in a day.
And he was also in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, he played the villain.
Mm.
Not Ultron, but the other villain who had the dance-off with Quill. What was his face? Blue one.
That was an awesome movie.
That was.
Highlander game was strong.
Awesome. All right. So for my pick today, I'm going to pick StarCraft 2. I've recently been... The new version of StarCraft 2, the new expansion is coming out sometime soon, and so I kind of got back into playing just a little bit, and I just appreciate, I'm playing the campaign, it's been really fun. Just appreciate how fun a game it is and how well done it is and how awesome Blizzard is, because they don't produce a single bad game, even though I may or may not like to play all of their games. Every one of their games is awesome. So StarCraft 2 will be my pick. I also do want to announce/mention that I am going to be hosting a webinar, giving a webinar on May 14th. It's an hour long. It's absolutely free on Angular 2.0, what you need to know. So if you are interested, yay!
I'll be there.
So Lucas, I will be telling you, Lucas, what you need to know.
Yes. I need that
Write it
guidance
down.
in my life.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Yes. So for anybody that is looking to get the scoop on Angular 2, this will be a great place to get it. Is this webinar on May 14th. Pluralsight is helping me do it, and there'll be a link in the show notes. Shai, you are last and the best.
Okay, so it started
On a dark night with your mom. Gross.
So yeah, I have 2 picks. One, it's related to your pick or your mention, Joe. It's the Angular 2 Google Docs folder. So the Angular team have all of their documentation publicly open, and you can see meeting notes, and you can get updated on what's about to come or the design decision and stuff like that. So it's really cool, and I'm checking it out every once in a while to see what's up and to see what is gonna happen. So definitely check it out. And the other one is a Chrome extension that I started using for listening to YouTube music. I don't know if you guys picked it before on the show, but it's called Streamus, and I'll post the link. So Streamus, it's really cool. You can just search for all your songs and just listen to StarCraft or Deus Ex soundtrack and stuff like that while you're coding. So it's cool. And these are my picks.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming, and we will thank you, Shai, for being on the show.
Thank you.
And we'll see everybody next week.
Whack.
Sure.
Whack.
This episode is sponsored by Mad Glory. You've been building software for a long time, and sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. Work piles up, hiring sucks, and it's hard to get projects out the door. Check out Mad Glory. They're a small shop with experience shipping big products. They're smart, dedicated, will augment your team, and work as hard as you do. Find them online at madglory.com or on Twitter at madglory. Hosting and bandwidth provided by the Blue Box Group. Check them out at bluebox.net. Bandwidth for this segment is provided by CacheFly, the world's fastest CDN. Deliver your content fast with CacheFly. Visit CacheFly.com to learn more. Do you want to have conversations with the Adventures in Angular crew and their guests? Do you want to support the show? Now you can. Go to adventuresinangular.com/forum and sign up today.